Welcome to a little bit of lab rat fun, networking with fish. We're going to go ahead and dive right in today. If you have not watched any of the CyberFlood series, I would suggest that you watch the first foundational 3 in the series before doing this one. But here we go. So what we're going to do here is we still have the clients, we still have the servers, we're still sending traffic back and forth as a traffic generator does from a layer 4 through 7 perspective. What we're going to go ahead and do today is we're going to go to the CyberFlood. It'll be a bit of a cleaner CyberFlood startup. I'll more into that later. Then we're going to increase the volume of traffic in the CyberFlood. We're going to go to the firewall. We're going to add a rule to block the Telnet. We're going to go back over to the CyberFlood, send the traffic, and then we're going to go back over to the CyberFlood to make seeing the blocked traffic easier, because the whole point of this is actually to use the CyberFlood and know that you're sending an application mix. And then part of the application mix that you're sending, you want 100% of that traffic to be blocked. There's a bit of an easier way in CyberFlood to do that. So let's go ahead and go over to the CyberFlood. So here we are in the CyberFlood, and let's do test builder. So throughput with mixed traffic, lots of different choices there. For what I want to go ahead and do, we're just going to do that one. It's also what I did in the first 3 videos. Now, what I meant by this as a cleaner environment is, you see I only have 4 profiles. In the other videos, you may have noticed that we had a lot of other things that I could drag over. I was mentioning before that we have a lot of clients and servers already set up. We just had the holiday shutdown at Cisco, so we have to clean up in labs every now and again, so that's always a good time to do it. So what you see here is only the stuff that I've actually created so far. So it says I have 4 profiles. So what I have is I have a client profile that I already made, a server profile that I already made, a client virtual router that I already made, and a server virtual router that I already made. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually move this client. I'm just going to drag it over here. And I'm going to move this server, and I'm just going to drag it over here. Client virtual router, drag it there. Server virtual router, and drag it here. Now in the other videos, when I went over this ellipses, it allowed me to actually click ports. You'll see right here it says select a queue before selecting ports, because I haven't yet said what ports I'm going to tie this test to. So now I have. And so now I can go ahead and say I want this one to go there, and I want the server to go on this one. And then I want the client to be associated with the clients, and I want the servers to be associated with the servers, and go. Now, the next thing I want to do is I actually want to save this. And when I save it, I don't want to override it with throughput with mixed traffic. I want it to be something that is more meaningful to me. So let's just call it CyberFlood Fun. Okay? And just do a save. Now, the other thing that's going to go ahead and happen is I chose the one that I did. And so it's going to say 6 gig, and it's going to say 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you'll just hang tight, I'm going to modify that. So I'm back, and we've modified it. The test will now only last for 1 minute, and we'll be using simulated users as opposed to bandwidth. So we're just going to go ahead and say we want like 100 simulated users. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do is let me go ahead and just do a save. Yep, save over the thing that I just created. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do is we're supposed to go in here. And again, this was the default of the traffic mixes. And you see that I now, by the way, have 5 profiles because I just added the test CyberFlood Fun. So now we have the client profile, the server profile, the client VR, the server VR, and the test itself. So now we have 5 profiles. Now, if we come in here, we want to change this from 0.1% to 10%. A couple ways we could do that. So I could come in here and I could find Telnet, and I could say 10. Now, what you just noticed is that everything turned red around here, and all the boxes turned red, because I went from 0.1% to 10%. So I just upped it to sending 109.9% of traffic. So I have to get rid of 9.9% of traffic, and sometimes I just don't care where it comes from. So originally I said auto distribute. And then I was like, well, that's pretty much auto distribute. So 7.14, 7.15% everywhere. That's not what I want either, because I want Telnet to be round about 10%. So let's cancel out of that. So exit that, and let's go back into it. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to actually have this be my traffic mix. So fish mix. And what I want, again, is I want the Telnet to be about 10%. So instead of changing it over here, or doing the auto distribute, what we're going to do is we're going to find Telnet, and we're going to go ahead and go to around about 10%. Don't really care if it's spot on or not. So 10%. Now I'm going to go ahead and update. Now you actually see that we have 6 profiles. We have the client client VR, the server VR, the test itself, and also my special app mix. So now what we're supposed to go ahead and let's just do a save and then save it. So now what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to go ahead and we're supposed to go over and on the firewall, add a rule to block Telnet. So let's go ahead and go over to the firewall. So here we are in the firewall. Here's my 4120. This is my access control policy. So it's in here that I need to add a rule. So right now the rule is basically any can come in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a rule. And we're going to call it block Telnet. So what we're going to do, these are all your different choices. We're just going to go ahead and block it. Now, do we insert this, before the rule or after the rule? These are all the choices. We're going to go, below the rule or above the rule. We need to go above the other rule because if we went below the other rule, we would allow everything through. So we need to block Telnet to be the rule above the permit any. So we're going to go ahead and block Telnet. We're going to go right over to applications and we're going to search for Telnet. Find Telnet, add the rule, add, and now we can see that we have a block Telnet. All Telnet applications are supposed to be blocked, and we're supposed to save this, so we're going to go ahead and save it. And then also what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to go ahead and deploy. And so don't really care about the FTDV, only using this one. And by the way, you can also say I want to see everything in here of what I'm deploying. So, and then we go ahead and deploy. So we want to block Telnet. So on the firewall, we've gone ahead and deployed, so Telnet traffic should be blocked. What we're supposed to do now is go back over to the CyberFlood and send traffic. So back over to the CyberFlood, we've already saved this, and we're sending 10% of Telnet. So let's go ahead and just start. So now the test has started. The CyberFlood has pushed the instructions out to the C100 and is running the test. I'm only running it for about 1 minute. And you can see that we're doing pretty well here. I want 100 simulated users. We have 100 simulated users. It's telling me the bandwidth. My only issue, so here's my issue. The purpose of this test was to block Telnet over on the firewall and to have the CyberFlood block the traffic. If you watch the other videos, you'll see I have unsuccessful here. What bothers me about the unsuccessful is that the unsuccessful I have is, as you can see right here, Telnet. So I have to sit here. So first and foremost, as you know from before, I really like having this nice big green pie that says everything that you wanted to have go through is 100% successful. So everything that you wanted to have go through is 100% successful. What I'd really love is something that says everything you wanted to have go through is 100% successful. And everything you don't want to have go through was not successful at all. But this is not really the best way, in my opinion, to have CyberFlood do this. This isn't it, right? What I really want is I want those two very clear signals. So let's configure it that way. Let me show you how. So here we are back at the test. So what you'll notice is we have this one tab, traffic mix, and we have another tab, security mix. So let's go ahead and first actually take the Telnet out. I'm going to take the Telnet out, and I'm going to go ahead and say I want to auto distribute because I don't really care now. So let's go ahead and just take the Telnet out and auto distribute, and I'll update. So no Telnet. Now let's go ahead and go over here. We're going to go to the security mix and we're going to go to something that is apps, attacks, and malware, because CyberFlood is a layer 4 through layer 7 traffic generation tool that is also extensively used specifically for security testing. So let's call this fish security mix. So we have fish security mix. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the next thing. Right now, we could be doing malware, we could be doing attack scenarios. In the next video, we'll be doing attack scenarios. Let's go ahead and go to application scenarios, because what I want is I want Telnet. A couple different ways I can get there. I can either go ahead and go and see, oh, it's here, or oh, it's over here, or I can just type right in here and say Telnet, if I could just type Telnet. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I just want Telnet. So let's just go ahead and Telnet connect and closes and stuff like that. Add selected. And we'll call this Telnet or bad Telnet. Bad Telnet. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to save Telnet. We're going to send Telnet traffic. But when I do it this way, because it's in the security mix, what I'm actually doing is I'm saying send Telnet. However, I expect that this should be blocked. So in here, I am telling you about applications I expect to be blocked. So if it got through, that's bad. Or attacks I expect to get blocked. If they get through, that's bad. And that's what I want. Okay? So I want to send this traffic mix, but I actually want to send Telnet. That would be my bird. I actually want to send Telnet, but I want the Telnet to tell me that, yes, it all got blocked. So let's kick it off. And here we go. So what I want to see is I want to see a big green circle that says everything that you wanted to go through from the traffic application mix is good, 100% successful, and it went through. And then from the security mix tab, that's going to be the things that I want CyberFlood actually to warn me if that went through. So if we come here, we have exactly that. We have two nice circles that say my traffic mix that had no Telnet in it is 100% successful. Rock, we're solid. And from the security mix perspective, everything that I expected to be blocked, which was I sent Telnet, and all that Telnet that I sent, all of that should be blocked. So this is exactly what I want. And that's how to do that in the CyberFlood. See ya.